The tone and tenor of the debate during much of Tuesday's parliamentary session have caught the attention of the public, with many concluding that the exchanges were unbecoming of the standard expected of the House of Assembly. But the man presiding over the debate, Speaker Claudius Francis, says the exchanges and contributions were within the standing orders which govern the conduct of the House of Assembly.
What my job is to ensure that the rules of the Parliament are not offended. I didn't see any offensive or any behavior offensive to the standing orders on Tuesday. There were occasions when both sides asked to intervene on something that was being said by another member. Sometimes I accepted, sometimes I declined. The leader of government business, for example, requested that I stop the leader of the opposition when he was responding to the member of Castries Central. My ruling was that he was responding to what was said about him, and he has that right.
The opposition senator, Fira Polius, thought the level of debate was way below par and calls for the standards to be raised.
I strongly believe that this behavior should be discouraged. I do not think that any politician or parliamentarian or any leader should render unto any other that power to torment, to intimidate, to threaten, or to bully anyone. That is unacceptable. There is need to raise the bar. We need to put in the code of ethics so that the St. Lucians, the citizenry watching those leaders in operation, conducting the affairs of the country, they too can be positively influenced by their behavior.
The Speaker of the House of Assembly says he would look into any accusation of unacceptable conduct and invites the opposition senator, or anyone for that matter, to point to specific breaches.
If the senator could show me the standing order that was offended, I'd be more than happy to discipline the members of Parliament. I'm not aware that any standing order was offended on Tuesday, and I'd be more than happy to look into it if the senator could show me which one was offended.
The President of the Senate, Stanley Felix, was questioned about the conduct of parliamentarians of the lower house during Tuesday's debate. He says he thought the exchanges were spirited, with the Speaker, he adds, maintaining control throughout. Felix says the debate in the upper house is more sedate.
Speaking for the upper house, I mean, we've had a long tradition of distinguishing ourselves from the lower house because, you know, in the lower house you have people who actually represent different constituencies, and they're more passionate. I think in the upper house we tend to focus more on the substance of what's before us rather than the sensationalism and the politics. So there's less politics in the upper house and more substance.
The Speaker of the House of Assembly says allowance must be made for different communication styles of parliamentarians, noting that loud and robust speakers are not necessarily rude or offensive. Few would argue that the conduct at the last sitting of the House of Assembly was lively and engaging. The question is, did it cross the line of what is acceptable conduct in Parliament? Beyond offending the standing orders, the answer must be down to one's interpretation. But what of the expletive that slipped through the lips of the member for Castries Central, Richard Frederick?
My party. It will not be your party for a long time. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'll be back.
That seemed to have escaped the sanction of the normally astute Speaker, Claudius Francis, but not the attention of the public. Stanley Lucian for the HTS News Force.